Ladies and gentlemen, today I bring you a truth so powerful, so undeniable that once you grasp it, life will unfold in ways you never imagined. You have struggled, you have pushed, you have fought against the tide of life, believing effort alone is the key to success. But what if I told you that the greatest power is not in the struggle, but in the surrender? What if I told you that after this moment, you need to do nothing but trust, believe, and assume the reality you desire? Everything you experience in life is a reflection of what you assume to be true. Assumptions are not mere thoughts or wishes. They are deep-seated beliefs that shape the way the world responds to you. The mind is the master architect of reality, and whether you are aware of it or not, you are always creating based on the assumptions you hold. When you assume something to be true, you no longer question it. You no longer seek validation, you simply accept it as reality. And because your external world is nothing more than a mirror of your inner world, it must conform to the truth you have established within. Most people believe they must first see proof before they can believe in something. They wait for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel a sense of security, success, or joy. But this is the great misunderstanding of life. The outer world does not come first. Your belief does. It is your assumption that molds reality, not the other way around. If you assume lack, if you assume abundance, opportunities will appear where none seemed to exist before. It is not a question of whether this works. It is a question of whether you are willing to take control of your assumptions and direct them toward what you truly desire. Your assumption is like a seed. Once planted, it will grow, regardless of whether you water it with faith or doubt. The subconscious mind does not discriminate between good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It simply takes what you believe to be true and manifests it into form. The only reason people fail to see results is because they uproot their assumptions with worry, second-guessing, and fear. They plant the seed of their desire, but moments later they dig it up by doubting whether it will ever come to pass. The key is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled and let it be, without interference, without anxiety, without looking for signs. Think about the way you breathe. You do not consciously try to make it happen. You simply trust that it will. This is the level of faith you must have in your assumptions. When you assume something with certainty, you eliminate resistance. You no longer concern yourself with how or when it will happen. You do not beg. You do not plead. You know. And in that knowing, the unseen forces of life begin to arrange everything necessary to bring your assumption into reality. The moment you stop fighting against it and allow it to be, the world bends in your favor. Look at those who seem to attract success effortlessly. It is not because they work harder or because they are luckier. It is because they assume success is natural for them. They walk, speak, and act as if it is already theirs. And because they believe it so deeply, the world responds accordingly. The same principle applies to everything: health, relationships, wealth, opportunities. What you assume to be true about yourself and your life becomes your experience. Your assumption is not just a passive thought. It is a command to reality, and reality must obey. Many people unconsciously assume the worst, and then they wonder why life continues to bring them hardship. They expect rejection, and so they receive it. They expect delays, and so things never seem to work out. They assume life is a struggle, and so it becomes one. But the moment they shift their assumption, even slightly, their world begins to transform. This is why it is so important to be deliberate with the assumptions you hold. You are always creating, whether consciously or unconsciously. The question is, are you creating a life you desire or one you fear? Changing your assumption does not require force. It requires a shift in awareness. You must become aware of the stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you carry, and the expectations you set. If they do not align with the life you want, change them. Assume that you are worthy. Assume that you are loved. Assume that everything is always working in your favor. And then watch as life begins to mirror those assumptions back to you. The shift does not happen outside of you. It happens within, And once it does, the outside world has no choice but to follow. Every great change, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with a new assumption. When you dare to assume the highest, when you step into the reality of your desires before they physically appear, you unlock the secret that has always been available to you. Reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It bends and shapes according to the thoughts you persistently hold. And the most powerful truth of all is this: you do not need to seek, chase, or struggle for what is already yours. You only need to assume it and let it unfold. Chasing something implies that it is running away from you. It suggests distance, separation, and lack. The very act of chasing reinforces the idea that what you want is not yet yours, that it is outside of your reach. This is the reason so many people struggle to manifest their desires. They are constantly affirming their own lack by believing they must run after success, love, wealth, or happiness. But the truth is, nothing you desire is running from you. It is only waiting for you to stop chasing and start expecting. When you expect something with certainty, you eliminate the gap between wanting and having. Expectation is the silent force that commands reality. It does not beg, it does not plead, it simply knows. When you place an order at a restaurant, you do not chase the waiter around demanding proof that your food is being prepared. You trust that what you have asked for is on its way. This is how you must approach everything in life. When you shift from chasing to expecting, you align yourself with a reality where your desire is already fulfilled. You no longer seek, you receive. You no longer hope, you know. And this knowing transforms everything. People who chase often find themselves exhausted, frustrated, and discouraged. They put in endless effort, trying to force things into place, yet the more they push, the further their desires seem to move away. This is because chasing operates from a mindset of lack, and lack only attracts more lack. But when you step into a state of expectation, the struggle disappears. You do not need to convince yourself that what you want is coming. You assume it as fact, and because your external world is a reflection of your inner state, what you expect must eventually materialize. Think about the moments in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. Those moments were not the result of struggle, they were the result of alignment. They happened because on some level you knew they would. Whether it was a job opportunity, a relationship, or an unexpected blessing, it arrived because you were in a state of allowing rather than chasing. You were not desperately searching for it, you simply expected it, and so it came. The same principle applies to everything. Expectation sets the stage for effortless manifestation. Chasing creates resistance, while expectation creates flow. When you chase, you are operating from the belief that you do not yet have what you want. You are telling the universe that you are incomplete, that something is missing, that you must work harder to attain it. But when you shift into expectation, you send a different message. You declare that you are already aligned with your desire, that it is already making its way to you, and because the universe reflects your dominant state of being, it must comply with what you believe to be true. Those who achieve greatness do not chase, they expect. They do not constantly question whether success will come to them, they assume it is inevitable. They do not beg for opportunities, they know that opportunities are seeking them. This is why they attract what others struggle to find. Their inner certainty shapes their external reality, and life simply mirrors back what they have already accepted within themselves. You must begin to embody the same energy. Walk as if what you desire is already yours. Speak as if it is already done. Live in the reality of expectation rather than longing. Expectation does not mean sitting idly and doing nothing. It means moving through life with a deep, unwavering confidence that what is meant for you is already finding its way to you. It means releasing the need to force things and instead trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. When you hold the belief that what you desire is inevitable, you do not feel the need to chase. It naturally gravitates toward you. The world begins to respond to you in ways that seem almost magical, not because you are forcing it, but because you are aligned with the outcome you seek. The moment you stop chasing and start expecting, everything changes. You begin to notice how easily things flow to you, how effortlessly situations align, how what once seemed out of reach suddenly appears. This is not luck, this is law. Life does not give you what you desperately run after, it gives you what you confidently expect. When you stand firm in the knowing that what you seek is already yours, the need for struggle disappears. You step into a state of ease, and in that state, everything you have been seeking finally finds you. Everything in life follows a process. A seed does not become a tree overnight, nor does the sun rush to rise before its appointed time. Yet in their own time, these things unfold effortlessly, without resistance, without force. The same principle applies to everything you desire. There is no need to struggle, to constantly check if things are working, or to question whether your dreams are coming to pass. The moment you set an intention, the process begins. But it is only those who trust the process, who do not interfere, who do not allow fear to uproot their progress, who see the full manifestation of their desires. Doubt is the enemy of progress. The more you question whether something is happening for you, the more you introduce resistance. Imagine planting a seed and digging it up every few hours to see if it has started growing. It cannot take root that way. Yet this is what so many people do with their desires. They ask, where is it? Why hasn't it happened yet? What if it never comes? And in doing so, they disrupt the natural flow of creation. Trusting the process means letting go of the need for immediate evidence. It means knowing deep within that just because you do not see results today does not mean things are not shifting in your favor. There is a perfect order to how things unfold, even when you cannot yet see it. The same way a caterpillar must go through the cocoon phase before becoming a butterfly, there are stages to every manifestation. The desire itself is proof that the path is already being laid for its fulfillment. The timing is not your concern. Your only job is to align yourself with the outcome and remain unwavering in your faith. The moment you start believing that delays mean denial, you begin to work against the very thing that is meant for you. But when you trust that everything is happening as it should, you allow the process to unfold without unnecessary struggle. Patience is not about waiting, it is about maintaining confidence in the unseen. Most people grow anxious when they do not see immediate results, mistaking stillness for stagnation. But just because something is not visible does not mean it is not happening. Consider the way an artist paints a masterpiece. At first, the canvas is bare, and as the strokes are added, the final image is not yet clear. But the artist does not stop halfway through, questioning whether the painting will turn out right. They trust in the process of creation. They keep going, knowing that, in time, the full picture will be revealed. This is how life works. Struggle only arises when you resist the process. When you try to control the how and when of your desires, you create unnecessary tension. But when you surrender to the natural flow of life, things unfold with ease. Trust does not mean inaction. It means moving forward with faith rather than fear. It means carrying yourself as if what you seek is already on its way. It means showing up for life with the certainty that everything is aligning in perfect harmony. When you trust the process, you no longer feel the need to force things. You simply allow them to come together in their own time. Fear and trust cannot coexist. If you fear that things will not work out, you are not truly trusting the process. If you constantly worry about what will happen next, you are placing more faith in obstacles than in possibilities. The strongest proof of belief is the ability to remain at peace, even when there is no immediate evidence that things are changing. Those who trust the process do not need to chase, convince, or beg for what they want. They move with an inner knowing, an unshakable confidence that what is meant for them will come. Not because they forced it, but because they aligned themselves with it. Every time you start to doubt, Remind yourself that everything you have ever achieved in life followed a process. There was a time when you did not know what you know now, when you did not have what you have now. Yet, things fell into place, not because you worried them into existence, but because, whether consciously or unconsciously, you trusted that life would work out. The same applies to everything that is still unfolding. No great success, no remarkable transformation, no powerful manifestation happens in a single instant. It is all a process, and the sooner you accept that, the more peace you will find along the way. There is no need to rush, no need to fear, no need to wonder whether things are moving in your favor. The very moment you set an intention, the wheels start turning. You may not see it yet, but beneath the surface, things are aligning, shifting, and arranging in ways you cannot comprehend. When you trust this, you remove the resistance that slows down the process. You step into a state of calm assurance, knowing that just like the seasons change without force, just like the tides rise and fall without effort, everything you seek is already making its way to you. To live in the end is to abandon the idea that your desire is something distant, something you must wait for, struggle for, or prove yourself worthy of. It is to step into the feeling that what you want is already yours, that it has already come to pass, and that there is no separation between you and the reality you seek. This is not wishful thinking, nor is it pretending. It is embodying the truth that creation is finished, that every possibility already exists, and that you are simply selecting which version of reality you wish to experience. The moment you claim something as yours without hesitation, without doubt, and without the need for outside confirmation, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself in accordance with that inner certainty. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for proof, for external validation, for something outside of them to confirm that they are moving in the right direction. But waiting only reinforces separation. When you wait, you acknowledge that what you want is not yet here, and in doing so, you keep it at a distance. Living in the end is the opposite of waiting. It is stepping into the reality where your desire has already materialized, and allowing that feeling to dominate your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. It is no longer hoping for a better future. It is assuming that the future has already arrived, that you are already the person who has what they once sought. To truly embody this state, you must release the need for evidence. The mind often seeks reassurance, looking for signs that things are unfolding as expected. But living in the end means letting go of the need to see before you believe. It is the recognition that your external world is merely a reflection of your internal state, and if you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, the physical world must eventually conform. Just as an actor immerses themselves in a role, adopting the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of their character, you must immerse yourself in the role of the person who already has what they desire. Every great success story begins with someone who dared to believe in a reality that did not yet exist in physical form. They did not wait for confirmation from the world around them. They walked, talked, and carried themselves as if what they wanted was already theirs. This is not arrogance, it is certainty. It is the unwavering conviction that nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, and nothing is out of reach. When you embrace this mindset, you eliminate struggle because you are no longer trying to become something, you are already it. You no longer chase after opportunities, relationships, or success because you are already living in the energy of someone who has them. The power of imagination is the key to living in the end. What you assume to be true in your mind will always find a way to express itself in your external reality. This is why the act of visualization is so powerful. When you close your eyes and experience the reality you desire as if it were happening now, your subconscious mind accepts it as fact. And because the subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined, it begins to guide your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in alignment with that reality. This is not magic. It is the natural law of creation. Your dominant state of being determines what you experience in the physical world. Doubt and hesitation are the only things that stand in the way of manifestation. The moment you begin to question whether something is possible, you introduce resistance. But when you persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled, regardless of what your current circumstances suggest, you override any obstacles that may arise. The world will reflect back to you whatever you assume to be true, so the key is to remain unwavering in your belief. The strongest evidence of faith is the ability to persist in an assumption without needing external validation. Those who succeed are not those who constantly check for signs. They are those who refuse to see any other outcome but the one they have already claimed. Your internal dialogue must match the reality you wish to experience. If you continuously affirm that your desire is on its way, you are still acknowledging that it is not yet here. Instead, speak and think as if it is already done. Replace I hope with I know. Replace I want with I have. Replace I am becoming with I am. Words carry power, and every statement you make is an affirmation of the reality you are aligning with. Speak only from the perspective of someone who has already received what they once longed for. This is how you shift into the state of fulfillment, and once you remain there, the outer world will inevitably reflect it back to you. Living in the end is the difference between struggling for a future possibility and embodying a present reality. The only reason something remains out of reach is because you keep it in the future, always something you are moving toward rather than something you have already arrived at. But when you collapse the distance between wanting and having, when you refuse to see your desire as separate from you, when you walk through life knowing that what you seek is already yours, the world reshapes itself to match your conviction. Doubt is the silent destroyer of dreams. It creeps in unnoticed, planting seeds of hesitation, making you question whether what you desire is truly possible. It whispers that you are not worthy, that circumstances are too difficult, that time is running out. It convinces you to second-guess yourself, to look for evidence that things are not working, to entertain thoughts that pull you further from what you seek. And the more you give in to doubt, the more power it gains, reinforcing the very limitations you are trying to break free from. To manifest what you truly want, you must let go of doubt completely. Not reduce it, not fight against it, but release it entirely, knowing that it has no real power except the power you give it. When you doubt, you are not just questioning your desire, you are questioning yourself. You are telling yourself that you do not trust your own power, that you do not believe in your ability to bring your vision into reality. Every time you wonder if something is possible, you are subtly affirming that it may not be. But creation does not work that way. The universe does not respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. Those who move with unwavering belief are the ones who see their desires fulfilled, not because they are lucky, but because they do not allow doubt to take root. They refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts their vision, and because of that, their vision must become reality. Doubt is a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. Most people have spent their entire lives conditioned to expect failure, disappointment, or struggle. They have been taught to prepare for the worst, to be realistic, to always have a backup plan in case things do not work out. But this mindset only reinforces the idea that success is uncertain, that dreams are fragile, that life is unpredictable. When you let go of doubt, you step into a new way of being. You stop preparing for failure and start expecting success. You stop analyzing every little setback and start trusting that everything is aligning exactly as it should. Letting go of doubt does not mean ignoring reality. It means shifting your focus to a deeper reality, one where your desires are already fulfilled. The world around you is simply a reflection of past assumptions, past beliefs, past thoughts. It is not an indicator of what is possible. It is only an indicator of what you have previously accepted as true. If you allow your current circumstances to dictate your belief, You will always remain trapped in the same cycle, never breaking free. But the moment you stop reacting to appearances and start living in the assumption that everything is working in your favor, the outer world has no choice but to conform. There is no need to force yourself to overcome doubt, because doubt itself is an illusion. It is nothing more than an idea, a thought you can choose to entertain or discard. You do not need to fight it, argue with it, or prove it wrong. You simply need to withdraw your attention from it. If a thought does not serve you, why give it any power? If a belief does not support your vision, why continue to hold on to it? The only thing keeping doubt alive is your willingness to engage with it. The moment you stop feeding it with your attention, it fades away, and in its place, certainty grows. Most people allow doubt to dictate their actions. They hesitate, they hold back, they wait for external confirmation before fully committing to their desires. But hesitation only delays the very thing you seek. If you want something, you must claim it fully, without reservation, without waiting for permission from the world. You must decide with absolute conviction that it is yours, and then move through life with that knowing. Doubt weakens your ability to receive because it signals to the universe that you are uncertain, that you do not fully believe. But when you remove doubt, when you carry yourself with the quiet confidence that what you want is already yours, everything shifts in your favor. Doubt is only powerful when you listen to it. The moment you stop entertaining it, it loses all control over you. Instead of questioning whether your desire will come to pass, assume that it already has. Instead of wondering if things are working, trust that they are. Instead of looking for proof, create the proof within yourself by holding on to the feeling of fulfillment. The strongest force in creation is belief. Whatever you believe with absolute certainty must become real, because belief shapes perception, and perception determines experience. The world will reflect whatever you accept as true, and if you refuse to accept doubt, it cannot manifest in your reality. Every great achievement, every extraordinary success, every powerful manifestation has one thing in common: a complete absence of doubt. Those who create remarkable lives do not entertain thoughts of failure. They only see success. They do not question whether they are capable. They know they are. They do not wonder if they will succeed. They assume that they already have. This is the mindset that moves mountains, that bends reality, that turns dreams into tangible experiences. And this mindset is available to you the moment you decide to let go of doubt and step fully into the certainty that what you desire is not just possible, it is inevitable. The law is absolute. It does not waver, it does not change, and it does not fail. It is the unseen force that governs all creation, operating with precision whether one acknowledges it or not. Just as gravity does not require belief to function, the law does not require recognition to shape reality. Every thought, every assumption, every deeply held belief is the seed of manifestation. And the world around you is nothing more than the harvest of those seeds. The law does not play favorites, nor does it grant exceptions. It simply brings forth into physical reality whatever is most dominantly assumed to be true. To understand the absolute nature of the law is to realize that nothing in life happens by chance. There is no randomness, no luck, no external force determining the course of events. Everything that unfolds is a direct reflection of the consciousness that precedes it. If one assumes limitation, the law ensures limitation. If one assumes success, the law ensures success. There is no negotiation, no partial fulfillment, only the unwavering response to the thoughts and beliefs consistently entertained. Many struggle because they unknowingly use the law against themselves, allowing doubt, fear, and limitation to take root in their minds, never realizing that these very thoughts are shaping their experience. Once this truth is understood, responsibility cannot be avoided. There is no one else to blame, no external source to credit for failure or success. Every individual is the sole creator of their reality, whether they accept it or not. The law does not grant exceptions based on effort, struggle, or worthiness. It does not respond to pleading, nor does it consider how long one has waited for change. It responds only to the dominant state of being, the inner conviction held without question. If life is not unfolding as desired, the cause is never found outside. It is always within, in the assumptions and expectations that have been unknowingly accepted. This truth can be either liberating or daunting. It is liberating for those who recognize that they hold the power to transform their world by shifting their assumptions. It is daunting for those who realize that they can no longer attribute their struggles to fate, circumstance, or external conditions. To acknowledge the absoluteness of the law is to accept full control over the life one creates. There is no more room for victimhood, no more space for helplessness. The same law that seems to work against some is the very law that others use to rise, to achieve, to manifest everything they desire. The difference is not in opportunity or luck. It is in awareness and application. There are no limitations except those imposed by belief. The law is not bound by logic, probability, or past experience. It does not recognize hardship or difficulty. It only recognizes the dominant assumption held in the mind. If one insists that success requires struggle, the law will faithfully deliver struggle before success. If one insists that love is scarce, the law will ensure that love remains elusive. But the moment these assumptions are changed, the law immediately begins to reflect the new belief. This is why transformation happens the instant one decides to fully embody a new reality. The outer world must mirror the inner world. It has no other choice. Many attempt to manipulate the external world without addressing the root cause, their own state of mind. They chase success, relationships, opportunities, never realizing that the very act of chasing reinforces the assumption that these things are separate from them. The law does not respond to effort, it responds to assumption. The moment something is assumed to be true without contradiction, it begins to materialize effortlessly. The only reason something remains out of reach is because at some level there is still an assumption that it is distant. The law does not recognize trying or hoping. It recognizes only what is accepted as real. The proof of the law is found in every aspect of life. Observe the patterns of thought that dominate your mind, and then look at the conditions of your world. They will always match. Those who constantly expect obstacles will always encounter them. Those who assume they are fortunate will always find themselves in favorable circumstances. The law does not fail because it cannot fail. It is as consistent as the rising and setting of the sun, as precise as the seasons, as dependable as the tides. To doubt the law is to misunderstand it. The moment one truly grasps its absolute nature, there is no longer any need for uncertainty. Mastery of life comes from mastering the law, and mastery of the law comes from mastering one's inner world. There is no need to force or manipulate external conditions. The only work that must be done is within, shaping thoughts, refining assumptions, and aligning completely with the desired reality. Once this is done, the external world follows without effort. The law does not ask for struggle, for sacrifice, or for years of waiting. It asks only for belief, unwavering and absolute, for it can only ever reflect what is most deeply held in the mind.